Hey everyone, and welcome to The Year Was, the podcast all about today that gives you just enough information to effectively be that guy at the party, causing all your friends to question, hey, who invited you? Like, seriously, why are you here? I'm your host, Michael Montalvo, and for the next few minutes we will swim through the river of time to try and find out what makes today truly unique. In this episode, we examine the events that occurred December 22nd. Do you guys remember when we talked about Krakatoa? It erupted August 27th, 1883, and was the loudest sound ever recorded. It darkened the skies of the immediate area for 2.5 days and killed over 36,000 people. It produced a sound so loud that it could be heard 2,800 miles away. Seriously, it was a staggering 310 decibels, which, to remind you of what Atish Bhatia wrote, a 10 decibel increase is perceived by people as sounding roughly twice as loud. The Krakatoa explosion registered 172 decibels at 100 miles from the source. This is so astonishingly loud that it's inching up against the limits of what we mean by sound. It was such a powerful explosion that it even changed the landscape. Krakatoa originally had 3 cones, and after the explosive eruption, only the southernmost of them remained. It even created a new island that emerged in the 1920s that was dubbed the Child of Krakatoa, Anak Krakatau. And that is what we are talking about today. The island is almost barren, and it sits in the Indian Ocean. Its crater in the southwest corner sits on top of a volcano, which has over the years flowed its lava and ash, which has hardened and become new parts of the island. Anak Krakatau is unique because it is so new, and we were able to see the quote-unquote natural progression of its development and of the development of the island's ecosystem. An example of this is the emergence of plant life, since the island and its soil were uncontaminated by seeds. All of the plant life either drifted or blew across the ocean, and this makes the island fairly interesting to watch. The island is small, but it's still home to a big power, and I'm not talking about some mystical object that would send the likes of Lara Croft or the Avengers into a frenzy to get to. We're talking, of course, about a volcano. And as we know from 3rd grade science fair projects, the one thing everyone knows about volcanoes is that they erupt. The year was 2018, and on this day, December 22nd, the volcanic island Anak Krakatau erupted and then collapsed, causing the Sundra Strait Tsunami. Our story begins June 2018. For it was this month that a small eruption on Anak Krakatau was seen. It wasn't a major eruption, it was just a lot of steam, the kind that happens all the time and often doesn't amount to anything else. Things continued, however, and by September, a thick cloud of smoke was billowing from the volcano. This eruption column was brownish in color and had rock fragments in it that are dangerous if inhaled by humans or engines. Pressure continued to mount, and it all came to a head on December 22nd, 2018, when just after 9 p.m., the volcanic island erupted. And for most stories, it would end here. But it doesn't. According to AlJazeera.com, there are some theories as to what happened next, but the most likely and the most believed of these theories is that after the eruption, the southern flank of the volcano collapsed and fell into the surrounding water. This, in turn, caused underwater landslides that created large, destructive waves that went crashing their way towards the Indonesian islands of Java and Sumatra. Waves reached a height of 21 feet, and when they hit land, they caused massive destruction. 681 homes, 69 hotels, 420 boats, 60 stalls, and many vehicles were all damaged or lost to the waves. At least 420 people died, and what makes this story a bit worse is that many of them were teenagers or families and young adults who were just out for a night of fun, attending a concert from the pop band 17, who were having a beach concert. 40,000 people lost their homes, and the wave's impact damaged many roads and ports. And while this is very bad, one of the added problems that the people faced was that relief efforts were delayed because they could just not get to the people who needed help. But I know what you're asking me. Don't they have some kind of warning system that warns against tsunamis? And the answer is yes, but the sensors used to detect them are often only triggered by earthquakes. Because this was a landslide, a sudden collapse of an island, no warning was ever issued, and the destruction, as far as loss of life goes, was perhaps a bit worse than it could have been. But what about the island? It collapsed, so what happened to it? Well, just like Krakatoa, the volcanic eruption of Anak Krakatau completely changed the landscape. While it originally stood 1,109 feet, the volcanic island now only has a height of 361 feet. That's going to do it for us today. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, give us a rate and a review. That helps me out, helps steer this in a direction that is hopefully good for all. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the Year Was audio version on your podcast app of choice. You can find me on social media and at YouTube at the Apple Cider Club. And as always, I want to thank the Tim Kreitz Band for our musical theme. And thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.